Is the iPhone 13 Pro Max worth it in 2026? Well, in today's video, I'm gonna answer that question. So if you guys are excited, drop a down below, subscribe to the channel, let's get started. The iPhone 13 Pro Max came out in 2021, and now, 5 years later, should you still buy it? Well, it's a tough question, because the iPhone 13 Pro Max, it's still an awesome iPhone. It still has 120Hz, still has an amazing triple camera system, still has a 6.7-inch bright OLED display, still has very good battery life, and it still has a very premium design. So it almost seems that there are no downsides to the iPhone 13 Pro Max. But that's not true. And the biggest one, in my opinion, is the Lightning port. If you think that the Lightning port is a deal breaker for you, don't buy the iPhone 13 Pro Max. This still has the old and obsolete port. And this limits you in so many ways. You have to use a different charger. Simply for this iPhone, you cannot use your universal charger, that it is USB-C. You don't have any type of fast charging speeds. Here, it charges slow, although it charges quite fast via the MagSafe, around 20 watts. Maximum speeds with the Lightning port, that is USB-C 2.0, I think are 30 watts, so not the fastest. And the worst thing of them all is the transfer speed. So if you want to transfer footage from your iPhone to your computer or everywhere else, it takes a very long time with the Lightning port. Of course, it has some advantages, so if you have old iPhone accessories, they work with the Lightning port. And of course, you don't need to actually buy new chargers if you have old iPhones. Other than that, there are no advantages. Other things that are not present on the iPhone 13 Pro Max is the action button and the camera button. Both hardware buttons present on the current iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max. So if you do really care about it, then they're not present here on the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Other than that, it's still a very similar phone to nowadays Pro Max iPhones. So it has around the same triple camera system, it has the same 120Hz display. It's a bit smaller at 6.7 inches, while the newest iPhone has a 6.9, and it still has the old notch, not dynamic island. Who cares? This might be a big deal for you. For me, I don't think it is. I think that dynamic island is a very fun, but gimmick at the end of the day. I think it gives you some cool information, gives you some cool widgets, some cool ways to interact with your iPhone, but I don't think it's completely necessary. And if you want to save a lot of money, the iPhone 13 Pro Max delivers an amazing package. Of course, the triple camera system is compromised. You still have a 12 megapixel main sensor, a 12 megapixel ultra wide, and a 12 megapixel telephoto that can only zoom in 3 times. And this kind of sucks, because nowadays we have super zoom telephotos with 4 and 8x, both at 40 megapixels, so it takes beautiful shots. You can also have a 40 megapixel ultra wide camera that is awesome in low light conditions, and here, well, it shakes a lot in low light conditions. So the triple camera system, it's still a bit behind, but it's still really good with awesome video, especially if you are just an Instagram user, a Facebook user, but just a casual user. You want to take some video and photos to put on your social media, but you don't really care about the video quality that much, just want to look good on Instagram. This is still really good. And of course, the battery life is still very solid with the iPhone 13 Pro Max. It's still easily a one-day phone depending on how much battery health you do have. You need to be very careful. If you need to buy a refurbished iPhone, in that case, check for the battery health. Don't buy iPhones with 80% battery health. That's stupid. That's giving you like 1 year of use. No, buy with 90 and upwards, and if you need, replace the battery on your iPhone 13 Pro Max for like $80. It's cheap. Put an original battery from Apple, and don't have any issues. So yes, it's a very compelling package. Around $500 nowadays with 256 bytes of storage gives you awesome battery life, awesome cameras, awesome display, and the old but very premium design with the stainless steel sides and with the squared off corners. This still feels like an $1,000 iPhone, but in 2026 costs like $500. And of course, you'll have access to the Apple ecosystem with FaceTime, iMessage, iCloud, anything that you need from Apple ecosystem you do have. You don't have access to Apple Intelligence. Who cares? It's the worst nowadays, so you don't really need it. You have access to ChatGPT, Notebook LM. All of those AIs are available here, just not Apple Intelligence. But I don't think that's a big no, because Apple Intelligence on my 17 Pro, it's still very limited, doesn't do that much. You cannot use the erase tool on the Photos app. That's something that most people would like to have, but you can't use it. So install Google Photos and do that on Google Photos. It works. But at the end of the day, I do believe that the iPhone 13 Pro Max, it's still a very compelling option, just because of all the things that you can offer you, especially that 120Hz display. It's a very compelling offer, because I mean, you don't see that much 120Hz displays unless you buy Pro iPhones upwards, because this was the first Pro iPhone to have 120Hz, and then you have the 14 Pro Max, the 15 Pro Max, 16 Pro Max, and then the 17 Pro Max. 4 generations of Pro iPhones with 120Hz. Although, with the normal iPhones, only the iPhone 17 gets 120Hz. So if you are not planning to buy the newest and shiniest normal iPhone, all of the other iPhones will have 60Hz. And if you really want 120Hz, this is the cheapest entry to get one. So I think that this alone makes the iPhone 13 Pro Max in 2026 simply a good option. If you want to buy one cheap and still get all of the Pro features, this is the iPhone for you. Alright, with all of those stuff out of the way, and now all the people that wanted to see the short answer out of the video, now I want to go deeper in two different aspects: the battery life and the cameras. Starting off with the battery life. This was a battery champ, and the iPhone 13 Pro Max, whenever I bought it new, lasted me easily 2 days. Insane. Nowadays, it's a one-day iPhone for sure. Even if you have a new battery, it won't last you that long. This chip, which I think is the A13 chip, or the A14, if I'm not wrong, it's an older chip, and so requires to have a little bit more power, to be a little bit more ramped up, to run iOS 26, and so spends a bit more battery. It's less efficient. And on top of all of that, this iPhone is showing its age whenever you use it. So yeah, you notice it's slowing down just a tiny bit, especially on the everyday task. You will notice it. Because nowadays, more apps are requiring more RAM. This still has fewer RAM. I think it has a 4GB of RAM on this iPhone instead of the 8 currently present on the iPhone 17 Pro. You will notice that, and so that battery life takes a hit. And on top of all of that, most of the iPhones 13 Pro Max that you buy nowadays, even refurbished, have around 90% of battery health. Even if you put 100% battery here, you will notice that it's a one-day phone, not more than that. If I currently charge this iPhone, which I think it has 81% of battery health, if I charge this iPhone currently, I will notice the difference. And yeah, it will last me throughout the whole day. Maybe, if I'm not that intensive on it, but if I am intense, well, 6 hours maximum. So around 6 to 7 p.m., I will have to charge it. But the cool thing is, it charges via the MagSafe port, and it charges via the Lightning port, so you have both options available here. As for the cameras, I want to show you some examples of photos that you can still take in 2026 with the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Starting off with the main lens, you can see that we have still amazing photos. Daylight conditions, nighttime conditions, all of the photos still look very sharp and up to date. And of course, this is still a very good sensor that takes very, very good photos and video. So either the video and the photos, they are both really, really good. With the main sensor, you won't notice that big of a difference. It still produces natural bokeh. It's still very, very good. It's not as sharp as the 40 megapixel coming up on the 14 Pro Max and upwards, but it's still a very good sensor. Especially on the video side, it's still very, very up to date. Can record 4K, 60 frames per second, no log, and no ProRes supported, but it does can record an HDR, if that's important to you. Coming up for the telephoto lens, this is the portrait photography lens on this iPhone. The 3X, or the 70mm equivalent lens, is not the best for portrait photography, but you can definitely do it. It's not the best. The lens, it's very tiny, does not create that much natural bokeh, and in terms of colors, is not the most accurate. So this is more of a zooming lens, less than a portrait photography lens. So if you want portrait photography, I would recommend you going for the iPhone 15 Pro Max and upwards. As for the ultra-wide camera, oh boy, this is the worst out of them all. This is the less color accurate camera. Whenever you go into nighttime conditions, it falls off very, very quickly. And in terms of video, this is the worst, especially on nighttime. Of course, telephoto is terrible, but you don't use telephoto for video. While ultra-wide, you do. And nighttime, whoa, you will notice the big, big downgrade in quality. So this camera system, it's a pass in 2026. It's not the best, it's definitely not the most up-to-date, but you can still use it for social media, for normal everyday memories. You can still do it, and it's still a very, very usable iPhone. It's better than 80% or 75% of Android phones on the market, and for the same price, it's definitely better than those phones. Especially like, get me a phone that costs $500 new, and it has this good of a camera system. You can't. And on top of all of that, it's made of stainless steel glass design. This premium with this gorgeous 6.7-inch OLED display. You simply can't. This is currently unmatchable. But the one warning that I need to make, and the final warning of today's video, is that this phone is from 2021, which means this phone is going to be 5 years old in September. And normally iPhones get an 8-year iPhone update cycle, so it means it lasts 8 years with software updates. Currently, we are in our 5th year, so we only have like 3 more years. If you decide to buy this iPhone, you need to know you're gonna have upgrades 2-3 more years, not more than that. But the good thing is, it costs $500, so getting $500 for 2-3 years of updates, that's really, really good. That's less than $200 per year for using this iPhone. And so, if you can find that, it's still an amazing, amazing option. You have several colors. This is the Sierra Blue. I like it, but my favorite one is the Forest Green. So, this very deep, very strong green. This was definitely my favorite. I bought this one because they launched the other color mid-cycle. Oh, more stuff. In terms of durability, since 2021 that I've used this iPhone, the stainless steel sides are completely brand new, like awesome. Brand new, no scratches, no dings, no dents, nothing. These are still incredible and they are very, very resistant. While the display, I've always used the screen protector, but still to nowadays, it's still perfect. No problems right here. The bezels are a bit thicker than the newer iPhones. You have to get used to that, but that's okay. You'll forget about it in a few seconds. And finally, I just want to say that this was a revolutionary iPhone. And I do believe that in 2026, there's lots of people that still love it, they still use it, and they still keep running it, and they don't want to switch. So if you have an iPhone 13 Pro Max, let me know in the comments below, because I want to see how many of you still use this beast. If you are still considering buying one, then again, for the 3rd or 4th time in today's video, be very, very careful with the battery health. Please, don't buy refurbished iPhones on a C grade that has 70% battery health. Please don't. It will change the experience completely. So, always check up on that. But that's it. This is the iPhone 13 Pro Max in 2026. Drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel. Bye-bye.